Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Goalpost. This is Never United, the podcast with a Liverpool fan and a Manchester United fan. This isn't going to be a good one.
I'm sad.
I am as well. However, I'm happier because you played second.
You had a go at me for celebrating when Liverpool lose. You are the cat that got the cream because we lost. You just got beat by Wolves.
Do you know why though? And I'll plea to the listeners here and the watchers. I feel like I get a lot of shit on this podcast when it's you and Vince. I feel like I get berated. I feel like I get bombarded, and it's just my way. Just once, it's all under the carpet now. Just once, I wanted to get back at you a little bit. I can't speak. I'm so tired. We played football today, and I am battered.
Cue me putting in a clip of me smashing in a penalty from the top corner. No, I disagree. I think Vince is so far against Manchester United nowadays that he is not with me at all.
Yeah, Vince.
So when we've got two United fans on, it doesn't ever feel like we've got two United fans on.
No, but when me and you are on our own, we do tend to have a decent conversation a lot of the time. When you and Vince are together, he might not do much, but you get twice as cat that got the creamy.
I try and get under your skin.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
I'm not going to be in that mood this week because I'm a little bit devastated. Right, okay, can I just talk firstly about there is a phenomenon that is going around against Manchester United where every single team that plays against us, one, plays the game in their lives, two, has one player who would never ever score a goal like they do score in the game, and all of a sudden it's the winner. It's Dewsbury Hall.
I was going to say list them. Danny Welbeck.
Danny Welbeck scored a free kick against us. Dewsbury Hall. We had who scored for the one into the top right hand corner past Lomans. I can't even remember. There's been so many.
And William Asula tonight.
Who's the one? I'm going to get annoyed thinking about it now. Who's the one who scored and we went and scored later on to win it?
Was it Fulham?
Yeah, it was Kevin. What's Kevin doing scoring against us like that?
I sympathise because we had the Harrison Reed one. And I know it's not every game, and I know it has happened to you more.
It does feel like every game against United.
But when a player that either doesn't start, William Asula's one of them. Dewsbury Hall's a bit different because he is starting for them, but he's not bagging goals.
He's not scoring top right bins every week. He's scoring little tap-ins or running through.
And Kevin's was his first ever Premier League goal. So I do get your point. I'm not trying to be soft because I've posted a TikTok and it's wound you up and I've been cat that got the creamy. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to be soft. I agree with you. And that Asula one tonight, he scored against us back in August. They talked about it on commentary. And it was an all right goal. We went on to win the game, so it's kind of no harm, no foul. He has not got that in his locker, what he did tonight. He's not got it.
Sick of it, mate.
He's come deep, won the ball, laid it off, span around, got pace from absolute nowhere, keeps it in, nearly falls over, which it would have been more fitting for Asula. Does a step over, sends Malacia back to Holland, and then bends one in the far corner and has Lomans rooted.
I'm so unbelievably furious about it. It's not the way that we have dropped points tonight. It's the fact that we've dropped points to that absolute abomination. Asula comes on, bends one into the corner, and it's like how many more are we going to have to take of that as United fans? Because what we've had is that happening to us, and we've somehow managed to still win the game. The Danny Welbeck one, the Kevin one, the Dewsbury Hall one that we actually ended up losing. You saw Michael Keane nearly score a goal from 30 yards out into the top corner. It's only because Lauren saved one into the top corner.
In fairness, Joshua Zirkzee nearly scored an absolute rifler, and he hasn't got that in his locker. Okay, again, not to necessarily wind you up. Everton, 10 men at home. Palace, you got through, 10 men. And then Newcastle again tonight, 10 men, fairly early. Is that a worry? I know, obviously, the Everton one was under Amorim, so it's kind of forget about that.
Is it a worry that we...
The performance tonight, I understand the Osula thing and all that sort of thing. I had no thought in my brain whatsoever that Newcastle would get a result after
No,
Ramsey got sent
I was
off.
pretty confident Newcastle would get a result tonight.
So
I said to you, I wasn't confident before the game.
No,
I said,
and you've every right not to be. I don't think I've ever been confident.
it's a
against St.
game.
James's.
It's a game that can go either way against Newcastle. So I'm not going to sit here and be absolutely devastated that we've lost 3 points and say there's problems or whatever. I don't have any worries. I think it's a game that anybody can lose. It's just the manner of losing it like that to a worldie. Again, it's just a sickener. I think Man United would really pour in the first half against Palace if we go back, because that's probably the last time that you've seen us. You haven't heard from us since those games at the weekend. Was at the Palace game. It is the flattest atmosphere I've heard at Old Trafford. It was one of those games where we won but almost didn't deserve to. The second half was really good. And it was against 10 men, but I felt the goals come in at that point. The first half was really flat. Newcastle tonight felt fairly similar. It was a little bit different because Newcastle are a good side. They had the game of their lives. It's the best I've seen Newcastle play all season, and they played it with 10 men.
I think teams these days, the way that the game's progressed and changed, and the whole tactical output and these data analysts and things like that, I think that going down to 10 men now is far less jeopardy than it used to be.
It feels like it doesn't matter.
No. And it's because it's so compact and it's all very possession based and low blocks get implemented in probably 85% of matches anyway.
I give Newcastle credit. They were really good tonight, and they dealt and handled.
They're definitely up for it.
They handled that red card really, really well. I think every single player on that pitch gave sort of an 8 to 10 out of 10 performance. It's just unfortunate that it's against United, and Newcastle have been awful this season. They've been terrible. There've been plenty of games where they've buckled in the last minute, and it's the opposite way round, and it's frustrating. However, I'm not going to go too hard too fast. United are in a good position. We never expected to win the league. I'll jokingly keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it until the end of the season that there's a title charge.
You were saying it at 1-1.
Yeah, but look, realistically, I think.
But you again,
top four was great.
Because I was sort of, I'll joke as well, because that's what I've said it a million times. That's what football's all about. You want the hope and whatever. And you quite rightly said, Arsenal concede a late equaliser to Brighton. You go and win the game. All of a sudden, there's a swing in that.
And then we got a game in hand, and all of a sudden it's 8 points, and then it's. Yeah, I think realistically, for the first time on this podcast, we're going to be completely realistic.
God, it must be bad.
I think United have got a tougher test on their hands keeping hold of this top four position, only because it's so tight. However, we've got to play Liverpool. We've got to play Villa in 11 days' time. It's in our hands. Do I think that we can do it? Yes. Everything that I've seen from this United side makes me feel like Carrick and the players have confidence. It's a new level of confidence. So yeah, I think we're going to finish top four, but I think it's going to be close. There are a few obvious things I think need to be corrected in this side, and I don't know if Carrick's going to do this at this point in the season. I don't think Mbeumo's the man for certain games. You've got to play Ahmad. I think Ahmad was the player to play tonight. Mbeumo struggled. Blaze went over the bar. A lot of heavy touches, caught on his heels.
Got a booking.
It's been something that's been pretty prevalent for Mbeumo for, I'd say, 6-7 weeks.
Since AFCON.
He's had a brilliant season in terms of goals, and he's been brilliant in the big games. So you got to give him that. And it's not a criticism, really. It's his first season at a new club. I think you've got to bring Ahmed in that position at that time.
And it was crying out, if you can start him. I mean, he's a big money signing and he's Premier League proven and he gets goals and assists all over the shop. So you can start him, but it's making that decision to say, okay, when's enough? Yeah,
50 minutes, unfortunately, was.
It was evident.
Yeah.
And from a Liverpool fan to say, I mean, I said you get Ahmad on, and I think you would probably agree, it would be very typical for him to go and get the match winner or set up the match
Didn't
winner.
have enough time. Barely had any touches. You gave him 10-15 minutes, Michael Carrick did. But I'm not going to sit here and criticise Michael Carrick because he's made excellent substitutions this season. So at the end of the day, it's unfortunate. We've lost to a screamer. It is what it is. We move on. Next game's in 11 days. Plenty of time to rest and get back focused. I think the one thing I will say a little bit is against Palace, after in the post-match interview, Michael Carrick came out and said there's a few things that we need to fix that weren't right. And he said, I'm not going to say it on here, I'm not going to tell you, but there's a few things that weren't right. And it didn't look like those things were fixed.
Or that he's tried to fix them and it's probably confused them. Because
I don't know. The performance wasn't awful. I just think Newcastle were really good. However, it's the tempo. And Michael Carrick, and I think it was said in commentary that he was crying out to move the ball quicker against Palace. It was so sluggish, so slow. But at half-time, obviously, he's got a rocket up them. And then they started moving the ball quicker. And all of a sudden, Cunha gets in behind, red card, the ball's moving about. Bruno receives it, quick first-time ball into the box, and Sesko gets the goal. So, yeah, all in all, I'm not negative. I feel quite realistic about top four is a really good shout. City dropped points as well, so they only move a point ahead of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fairly happy.
I don't blame you. I think that you're a shoo-in for the top four.
Really?
I think you're a shoo-in. Yeah, I really don't see Villa last in that top four.
No, me either.
I don't. It was a big result. Chelsea beating them 4-1, coming from behind as well is a big statement, because I don't think Chelsea are all that either. But it's very clear squad depth, quality of player is going to prevail for Chelsea. I think it'll be between Liverpool and Chelsea.
What about Liverpool? You obviously got beat late on to Wolves, which was fun for me for all of a day.
24 hours, yeah. So, very stark contrast with how you feel. It's very frustrating for you, but you can absolutely be level-headed after losing at St. James's. Forget that Wolves have had a couple of decent results. The performance from Liverpool
shocking.
It was a disgrace. And I don't like using that word too much, and I feel like I do. But it was a disgrace. Lackluster, no tempo, no desire, no passion, no cohesion. You have those 5 things that I've just listed. You have 2 of those not happening and you're in trouble. We had none out of 5.
There was a 5-minute period after Wolves got the opener.
Yes.
Where Liverpool were on the front foot, started moving the ball quickly, looked like there was real intent. As soon as you scored the equaliser, oh, okay, that's it now.
Which
it was really strange.
Contextually, if we'd have gone ahead, I can understand it ever so slightly. You're away from home, they're a dogged team, they're tough to beat. You might take your foot off and say, right, let's protect this lead. We want to finish in the top 4. Top 5 will probably be enough this season, but you don't want that. It's almost like the participation prize, isn't it?
You've got to go to the bottom of the league and beat them.
Absolutely. And if you play really well and don't, it just doesn't happen on the night. Things are hitting the bar, block shots, decisions go against you. None of that happened. It was just outright unacceptable performances to a man for 11 men.
I thought Salah was a disgrace, mate. I thought Salah was an absolute disgrace.
It's not right, mate. It's not right. And
I get angry. I'm a United fan. I get angry, and I feel that anger from you as well. Watching him walk around that pitch, honestly, I don't think he made a single correct decision on the ball.
Even the goal, and people will say about the goal, sorry to interrupt, even people say about the goal, keeper should save that.
Keeper should save that.
So had the keeper saved that, it would have been another notch in the belt of it was a disgraceful performance.
Yeah. He gets to walk away with a goal, and he really doesn't deserve it.
My worry is that he's happy with that. That's what I'm starting to worry about.
I fully believe that.
And
I don't think he's thinking about Liverpool. I think he's thinking about. I think he's almost about how do I maintain my reputation as a footballer? He's almost battening down the hatches. How can I make sure my stats look good at the end of the season?
For me, he's never been a stat padder.
He's always been on corners, by the way.
Dominic Szoboszlai has got one of the best, and even his corners yesterday were frighteningly bad. Every one
Salah's
of them
was worse. Salah had like 3 corners hit the first man.
I cannot believe how many times we changed corner taker. We've had Curtis Jones take them in the past. McAllister was on them for a bit. You'll have Salah on them. Gakpo's taken them. Szoboszlai's taken them. Robertson takes them.
When did the Salah thing come?
Probably him, and this is pure hearsay, so don't sue me, Liverpool. Probably because we've started scoring a few corners, and he's thinking, all right, well, if I put the ball in the box,
I get the
assist.
I get the A to my name.
Honestly,
it's what I was thinking.
I hate this position that man is putting Liverpool fans in, because none of us want to criticise him because of how brilliant he's been. But no player is above criticism. I can't stand this when I see these comments when we make these. We did one about the Salah laughing, which, by the way, you cannot laugh yourself off the pitch. And how people were telling me that he wasn't laughing at himself.
Oh, he was clearly laughing. At the fact that he was getting subbed, it was sarcasm, and he was throwing a strop. And he's guilty of throwing that strop when he's been out the side.
To then go and put in that performance, I can't believe that people will still come in and say, oh, you quickly forget what he's done for the club. No, we haven't.
This is where I think Carragher was right about Salah to a certain degree. I think he went too far, but his whole thing, Carragher, and he's right to do this, is Liverpool Football Club before any individual. And when he saw someone like Mo Salah, who is a club legend, start taking the piss, start costing his team game, start looking almost like he thinks he's bigger than the club, I deserve this, and putting himself before the performances of the team, I understand why Jamie Carragher's gone all at him, because he's trying to defend his club.
And he's seen it. He'll have seen it firsthand in the dressing room when he was there. He'll have had players that come in and think they're the dog's bollocks and don't put in the performances. And the phrase "no one's bigger than the club" should be universal for every football club on the planet.
There's not a single footballer that's bigger than the club they play for, with the exception of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Yeah, and even then there's an argument that Real Madrid and Barcelona are arguably either the top two clubs in the world or 1 and 3.
I mean, when they were at Barca and Real Madrid, they were the
oh, I see what you're saying right now.
I'm talking Al Nassr and Inter Miami.
Absolutely. Sorry, yeah.
But I don't think that's the case. It should be the case for any European team. Certainly not any European team. Nothing in the Premier League either.
You've got... I see a lot of divide, and it always happens, and it will happen with every football team and their fans online and in person. As soon as there's a bad patch, or in our case, a bad season, the divide becomes so apparent and so wide, and you've got so many. It's almost like left wing and right wing in politics. There's people that will die on a certain hill, one way or the other. But what so many people lack is the ability to allow both to be true at the same time. You are allowed to still adore Mo Salah and not forget everything he's done for the club, and idolise him and want a statue outside because of his goal contributions and what he's done to win us these trophies. You also are absolutely allowed to criticise a player that, until he scored that late on, was going to go 11 games without a goal in the Premier League and was dropping all-time stinkers.
I don't think the goals are the issue for Mo Salah. I don't look at his stats and think that's the biggest issue. The biggest issue is performances. He is absolutely awful on that pitch. He's the worst player on the pitch almost every time he steps out. So, yeah, he might get goals and assists. That's fine, whatever. But I'm looking at performances. Does he help the team? And he doesn't help the team. And
it's not just not helping the team on his individual basis. It's almost as a result of us, which you cannot blame Liverpool fans for, because he's given these moments, but it's almost a result of putting him on that pedestal, and he believes that he should still be there. Fair enough. You've got to make it as a professional footballer. You've got to have the confidence and the belief in yourself. But that belief is still there. And so it bleeds into the fans as well. And so we still expect him to bring out these performances and these braces after a stinker to win us games. It's not happening. And if he'd done it in the past, he might have already scored 20 goals that season. You've got credit in that bank for that season. If you haven't done it over a course of a long period of time, that credit for that particular season or period in the season starts dwindling, and you start thinking, okay, there's surely better players that can come on, or more willing players to do their bit for the team.
Yeah.
Rio Ngamoa, I just want to touch on him. He's 17 years old, and he has brilliant cameos when he comes on. I made a video at the start of the season hailing how good he is, his ability on the ball, and how mature he is for his age. What I'm worried about is that Liverpool fans are so desperate now to see him start and play clearly over Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah, which is so obvious to do. What I don't want to do is then make him a scapegoat by taking one of those two out. And because of that, it's a really difficult position to be in of what I want. I can't watch Cody Gakpo cut inside and lever the first man again, or clear off Wolves' line to deny us a goal. I can't watch Salah because it hurts me. I can't watch Salah put in these terrible performances. But I also don't want a young lad to come in and then face the same criticism because of the frustrations that you had with Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah. And I also cannot stand the thought of seeing Federico Chiesa start a game for Liverpool with the expectation that he wins us a game. So we're in a real problem wingers-wise. A real problem.
What I'd say about Rio Ngamoa is his statement was he wants to win a Ballon d'Or. I love that confidence. Lamine Yamal at 16 was starting for Barcelona. At 17 was one of the first names on the team sheet. That's the standard that is necessary to win a Ballon d'Or, because he was relied upon and delivered over and over again and continues to. If Rio Ngamoa is serious, he wants to win a Ballon d'Or, he should be able to deal with the pressure of coming in as a 17-year-old and starting every week. I would say if you want the best out of him, you chuck him in. If he's not good enough, that's that.
And
you move on.
My worry isn't with Rio Ngamoa. My worry is how toxic everyone is at the moment on the sidelines.
They'll love him. They'll love him.
There's just a lot. I don't know how many players.
You'll know better than me, but you bring a young lad through when you're in a time of struggle. Everyone's around him.
Everyone's asking for him to be starting, and I'm with them. I don't want to see Cody Gakpo or Mo Salah start against Wolves on Friday night. I don't want to. They had the chance. You had the chance to prove that you could do it there, and they haven't done it. And if Slot wants to win over a few fans that are very, very clearly dead against him at the moment, he needs to start making big boy decisions that ruffle a few feathers. My worry isn't with that. My worry is that he will be held. I believe he can do it, but if there's a chance where he has a 6 out of 10 performance, even if he puts in the 9s and the 8s, then people all of a sudden get on his back and say, "Oh, well, maybe Cody Gakpo has a better idea." That's just almost an irrational worry for me with him, because I do feel he can go and do it. And your point makes sense, because what you're saying is that won't happen if he is at the level that he expects himself to be.
He's either good enough or he's not. And I'm one of those people, like people are always cautious about chucking in youngsters. And I agree, you need to protect him to a certain degree. However, we are seeing a rise over the last sort of 20, 30 years, probably ever since Pele did when he was 18 years old, 17 years old, winning World Cups. You are seeing that more prevalent this probably last 10, 20 years, where you see 16, 17-year-olds come in and look like they can compete. That's the second time I said prevalent in this.
That's awesome.
No, it's really annoyed me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do agree with you. That was
if you're good enough, you're old enough.
That was more of a.
If you're old enough, you're good.
But again, this is where we are at the moment. This is where I am as a fan. I'm all over the shop. I'm all over the shop in what I want, what I think should happen. I still don't know whether I want Slot in or out. I don't know.
I honestly think, from an outside point of view, I honestly think Arne Slot is not making the key decisions at Liverpool currently. I don't think the Mo Salah situation resolved itself as cleanly as people think. I think that is still going on behind closed doors.
He doesn't want it. Mo Salah does not want to play for Arne Slot.
Mo Salah's not happy there. Arne Slot doesn't want to play Mo Salah. However, Mo Salah is starting and playing 90 minutes. Something's up there.
It's the... I'll give my 2 pence on it, because there'll be Scousers... I've seen it on the Twitter where some of them will be absolutely... I mean, they're calling him a terrorist, House. They're calling
You call him a terrorist?
I call Cody Gakpo a terrorist. And are so hell-bent on wanting him out of the football club. And then I see Scousers. I go to Scousers because they tend to be my barometer, because they're a lot closer emotionally attached than... We're very attached... Not me, but a lot of online fans are very attached to just purely results. That's all they care about, is the have we won or have we not? Yeah. And because we're not winning, it's Slot out. There's a divide, I'd say, is a lot more weighted towards Arne Slot. My thinking, not my opinion on whether he should stay or not, my thinking is because we have got two massive money signings that in this Wolves defeat and some of the other defeats where they haven't been playing in the Isaks and the Wirtzes, I think that the board are allowing him to get the squad fully fit and functional, and then going to make a decision. And on top of that, I think they feel like their hands are tied with the fact that we're in fifth round of the FA Cup and the last 16 of the Champions League, because it is awkward. It is way more awkward than you
Can't
think.
sack your manager. When the whole thing came out about Salah, I do think Arne Slot has got a lot of weaknesses, and I think they're being exposed at the moment. But I do think that at the same time, you got to tackle the biggest problems. The biggest problem at the moment at the club is Mo Salah. Then it's the rest of the squad, because there's some players who are not at the level that maybe we looked at last season and thought they were. They just aren't.
No, I want to say that it's down to taking your foot off the gas because they've done it, which to me, again, is unacceptable. You're getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, and fans pay tens of thousands of pounds every season to follow them around the country, plus the fans at home that will pay for Sky Sports and TNT and Amazon Prime and all that sort of stuff. You've got a duty as a player to put your all in. I can kind of understand if there's a little bit of a drop-off. Obviously, what happened in the summer, but I think that's far enough along now where it should be still there, but the football will have taken over, you know? So I don't
just
see...
poor performances, just bad decision making. That's what it is.
For me, it's just lack of passion. When I read out that statement from good friend of the show, Joe, his dad, Bill, that was born on Anfield Road, has been watching the team for 50 years, when he is so down and beaten up about not seeing the desire, and he's seen teams win everything, it really does hit home, because there just isn't. I see it now. It's like a glaring light when they're playing. It's just that there's no real fight. And exactly as you said, why is it taking scoring a goal against bottom of the league to rev you up to win a game?
Madness. Absolute madness. Okay, well, let's finish on this. Next season, who do you think is more likely to win the title? Liverpool or Manchester United?
I won't take too long over it. I'm trying to be completely unbiased. I think take out the transfer window. Yeah, because obviously there's going to be a big summer probably from both teams. Again, I would imagine you're either going to get a new manager and get him get backed, or we're going to get a new manager and he's going to get backed. Whatever. As it stands right now, I would be. I'm really interested to see how you cope with the Champions League football. I want to say squads right now. We've got a better squad. I don't know if we have, based on the performances.
Well, I said at the start of the season I got laughed at. I think you laughed at me as well for suggesting that Manchester United, there's a lot of players in that Man United squad that would get into Liverpool's starting 11, let alone their squad. I think right now we haven't got it's not a really dense squad. It doesn't feel like we've got players all over the place, but there's enough players that can come on and do a job. I mean, Xerxes not one of those players that is going to rip the game up, but at the same time, he can have some nice, neat touches, and it can help in terms of securing a win. I mean, he scored a goal, I think, away at Palace, which was important. That was an important 3 points. So, yeah, squad for squad, I think we've probably got slightly weaker than you. However, the starting 11, I'm taking a lot of our players in our starting 11 over yours.
I take a lot of Wolves players in our starting 11 at the moment, based off last night. It's not as easy to just say Liverpool or Man United. I think it would be really close between the two, to be perfectly honest. I think that squad depth, just if everyone is fit with us, I just feel like we have got a few more options that can go and win the lesser glamorous ties in the Carabao Cups and the FA Cups.
I'd say our front line's better than yours. I'd say our midfield's better than yours. I think our fullbacks are probably level. I think Luke Shaw's better than Kirkes, but I think Frimpong or whoever plays there at right back, Conor Bradley's probably a little bit better than Dalot because he's got no brain. Your centre-backs, I think Van Dijk's better, but we've got a better centre-back on the other side. And goalkeepers, I'd say they're about on par at the moment.
Yeah, with it rapidly declining on our front.
Yeah, and it rapidly improving on ours.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd probably say it's going to be close as well. I think
You're obviously going to back yourself, and I'm going to back
Yeah.
us. So it's kind of a rhetorical question, but I think interestingly, it will be close. I think this season will be behind Liverpool. I really hope that it will just be behind us. We can do something in the FA Cup or the Champions League, hopefully both, and that then spurs us on with a couple of signings, shore everything up. You're absolutely right. Your strike force and your forward line is better. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think that if you do finish comfortably in these Champions League spots, regardless of Champions League football or not, you'll have a belief around the club again. And there's nothing more than you can have.
I tell you what is absolutely not happening this season. You win in Champions League. You just no chance.
So
your squad's not good enough. The individual players aren't playing well enough. I know you get Champions League nights at Anfield and the atmosphere and stuff like that. Special things can happen. I understand that. Not a chance. Honestly, not in a million years do you win the Champions League this year.
I think we have got a chance.
No way. I think you've got a chance at FA Cup, maybe something domestic, but absolutely no chance in Champions League. What about next fixture? Who have you got? Forget the FA Cup game. You got Wolves in the FA Cup. Spurs
at home.
Go into that?
Yeah, I think I might.
So you've got Spurs at home. We've got Villa at home. We're both going to be at the games. We should do a nice little match day vlog. I think that'd be good fun. Score predictions?
No excuses at home for Liverpool.
I think you'll beat Spurs.
Struggling Spurs. Should be 2-0, 3-0.
3-1.
Maybe a goal for Spurs, yeah. Richarlison always seems to score.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said it about Wolves, but it's unacceptable. I'll go far as to say, if we don't beat Spurs, and the results go obviously the way of if Villa manage to take a point or 3 points off you, Chelsea win their game, we might be in trouble for clawing it back because there'll be a real impetus. So I think it's must win for us in terms of confidence.
Yeah. I'll go 3-1.
I'll say the same.
United Villa at home, big game that.
I think you'll beat them.
I think we'll have the edge 2-1.
I would say 2-0. Yeah. I think you go 2-0. You've got a long time to prepare for that, which sometimes can go against you.
Do you know what we're going to close this episode out with? We're going to close this episode out with some belting strikes from Brandon and me from having a kickabout today.
We can play football. I might be way overweight and he might have a dodgy knee, but we can play football. So when people come on here and say, oh, these boys have never kicked a ball in their life, watch his pen.
What's this?
Love you.
Do you remember when Harry Maguire did the most unnecessary top bit in a penalty shootout in a final? A bit like this. Oh, that's it!